Original gunslinger. Hey yo, brave boy. You take this for toy. Me not play them games, boy. Hey yo, right now. PvP. Hey yo, yo, yo. If a player wanna stop me, step
I'm trying to get through to you, break and make you fall. Know everything you wanted. Go. Just see how far you really come. Wake up, baby, feel the sun. I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying to break you out of your own mind. I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying. Let's go back to being 17 before we lost it. I know you've been wondering, is this what I really wanted? I didn't think so.
You ever get the feeling that everything in America is completely fucked up?
You know that feeling that the whole country is like 1 inch away from saying, that's it, forget it.
Okay. So, I know I skipped 2 nights. I'm sorry about that, guys. Had a lot to do just around the house and then just being tired, like actually tired. I do want to give a shout out to Rinman Designs before we get started. The last stream that I did, I think that he donated while we were off the air, but he donated $20. He said, "You rock and roll." So that's pretty cool. And I'm glad that you guys still maybe enjoy the music a little bit. It's just kind of whatever stock music comes with Streamlabs. I was getting hit on the new channel and I decided I probably don't want to pay 2 subscriptions to Epidemic Sound. It's not the most expensive thing in the world, but it would be kind of silly to pay for 2 subscriptions, right? So, oh man, it feels like time is just racing faster and faster. 2021 is like right on the horizon, right? It's out there, you can see it. And it's not this beautiful sunset horizon, right? It's kind of like an apocalyptic scene for miles, and then you just see like nuclear explosions in the background. That's how 2021 feels right about now, right? I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that feels that way. But we've got a lot of big news today, and I think that before I actually get into the news, I forgot to pull up this video, but it was one of the Operation Warp Speed guys, right? And they have come out, and I think Trump and him both have said, you know, hey, if you don't want to get the vaccine, you don't have to. Everybody's getting really excited over this because they said it's not going to be mandatory, right? And we've talked about this over and over and over again. The government itself, I don't think that they want to try to go full-blown mandatory, right? Like I've told you before, I don't foresee in the near future, literally like Humvees coming to your house are going to break down the door and like stick a needle in your butt or something, right? I don't really see that happening. Don't get too excited over this news because I think that it all depends on who you work with, right? If you work for some massive corporation or a big company out there, there's a very good chance that they're going to go, if you want to come back into the building or if you want to work with us, we're going to need you to get that vaccine. That's just kind of the way that it's probably going to go. Obviously it wouldn't be a great idea for the government to come out full force and do this, right? There's a lot of us that would even question that, though, because of Trump talking about the moment that it's ready, we're ready to roll the military out. And maybe there's just so many people that would be excited to get it. We would have like vaccine lines, like we have food lines. And then it's like the vaccine lottery. If you were too late that day, you got to come back and stand here tomorrow. You have visions and know how to control. Like how to control your visions? I don't know. See, like the other day, last weekend, whenever I had to kill that rattlesnake, like I knew it was going to be there because I had dreamed about it twice. And apparently my mom had a dream about a rattlesnake like the same time. And then there it was. It's like, that's not cool. That's for any of you that are missing out on that. I kind of let Discord, I didn't let Discord know everything. There's actually kind of a bit of a story behind that. I was actually on the phone. Like, I was on hold for like 30 minutes. So I'm like sitting on hold, the music's playing, and like there's a certain tune in the sound and like a bird that flies across the sky, and I just go, oh, no, 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 no. So it's like this deja vu moment, right? And like I turn my head and I'm like, oh my God. And so then I get closer and I'm just like, oh shit, that's like the snake from my dream. I'm like, oh my God. So I go inside because my mom's in here, and I give her one of the 22s and I take a 22, and I'm like, hey, I'm not positive, this could take two of us. And she's just like, what? I figured if I told her that there's a snake outside, especially a rattlesnake outside, that she's probably not going to walk out the door. So, we go and I shoot the snake. Like, I get him right on the head, like first shot. Always get him right on the head on the first shot, right? Because if you don't, they can get away, and they can get away pretty fast. So always make sure to get them on the head that first shot, and keep a good safe distance, guys. Remember, if a snake is 3 feet long, it's got 6 feet of range where it can get you. If it's 6 feet long, there's like 9 feet where like striking distance is insane. It's like 3 feet for every 3 feet more than their length, I think it is. So be very careful if you're going to deal with that kind of stuff. But literally right as I pop the snake on the head, apparently Jasmine, who's my person that I've been on hold with, she's like, hello? And my mom is just screaming in the background, shoot it again, shoot it again, shoot it again. And Jasmine's like, hello? And so I just like go over after my mom is screaming, shoot it again. I don't know where this lady is calling out of. Some places aren't too friendly with guns. And I just pick up the phone and I'm like, hey, Jasmine, I'm so sorry. I had a rattlesnake on my porch, had to deal with that. And she's like, oh my God. But this lady, I feel so like, I don't know whether to feel bad. I think it's funny because she could like, I don't know, you obviously heard the shots in the background. And if you're not familiar with guns, you might think that it's something more than what it is. I don't really know. But it was very interesting, to say the least. And now I know that there's probably a shit ton of rattlesnakes under my house, which doesn't make me feel very comfortable because it's mating season and they're like doing their thing. Like, get out of here. Get out of here. But it was neat. And then my mom, like, she was so dead set on burning the snake in the fire pit. Like, we have to burn it. And I'm like, that's the most gorgeous snake skin I've ever seen. It's a timberwood. It wasn't a diamondback. It wasn't a pygmy. It was a timberwood rattlesnake. And they have this beautiful V shape that goes down their back, right? And like this red copper streak. It was the most perfect skin I've like ever seen. And she's like, we have to burn it. Oh. So there's that. There's just a bit of a story that you guys maybe hadn't heard. Because it's kind of random to just be like, oh, a rattlesnake on YouTube. That's kind of interesting. John Golf, that's good. That's good. That's good. All right. Well, let's go ahead and I like how I can actually see your little Avies in this chat. I never really thought about it because I'm so used to seeing my YouTube people. But John Golf, I like your little Avi guy and his pitchfork. I don't know if it's a zombie or what, but it's kind of neat. Okay, so this is the biggest story of the day, and you guys might go fringe. This is nothing, and whoa, what did I do there? I just well, either way, good time. I wanted to talk a little bit on that. Before we get to that, though, I guess the desktop decided that we're going to talk about Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Exchange. And this is, like, after you hear what I'm about to read to you, it might put a little bit of a fire under your butt. And you're thinking, oh, fringe, silver got knocked down 10% today or 8% by the end of the day, is where it was. Why would I want to buy into something that's falling? I hear that sometimes, and I'm like, well, do you want to buy it when it's at $50, or would you like to buy it when it's low? I'm kind of the person that thinks, you know what? I'm going to buy that dip. That's a really nice dip. And I've actually secured a price with Tony for tomorrow. So It's kind of like after hours and stuff, and I might actually go into his studio tomorrow. We'll see. I've been planning on it. I was supposed to go today, and I let chores get out of control at the house. So it's funny how much stuff can actually stack up, and then how much longer it takes than what you think it's going to take. So yeah, Richard's like, good time to buy silver, and it is like, because of the price decrease, I might actually be able to buy a little bit more than I normally would. So that makes me feel so much better, because everything just doesn't feel very secure right now, right? And now we can get into, what is this doing? Why is it being weird? My desktop is making some other decisions. There we go. So I hope that you guys have heard about this. I hope that you have, because it's the biggest news of the day. Deutsche Bank money laundering scandal could create greatest economic crisis in history. Now, from what I know, it's not just Deutsche Bank, but I think that this article kind of talks more on that ends of things. This is insane. Like, this is actually insane. It's the kind of stuff where you know that it's happening, but now they decide to tell you, and you're just like, oh, you want me to know now. That means that something's probably coming from it. So Deutsche Bank, along with several of the world's biggest commercial banks, are embroiled in a global money laundering scandal that spans over 2 decades. 2 decades! That's almost as old as me, man. Right? No, yeah, maybe? Like 20 years? Somebody correct my math if I'm wrong. Help me out. I told you guys I hadn't been getting much sleep. So, as documents leaked to BuzzFeed show the movement of $2 trillion in illicit cash through the Western banking establishment. The cache of suspicious activity reports detailing years of potentially illegal banking transactions were shared with 108 new organizations in 88 countries, according to the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. That's insane. These records are a requirement for any financial institution that engages in dollar-denominated transactions anywhere in the world, and are filed with the Treasury Department's Intelligence Unit. Guys, this is not just the banks. This is like the Fed, our central bank, right? The world's central bank is in on this. Governments are in on this. The Treasury Department. Yeah, you gotta think they knew about it. We're not just going to pretend like, oh no, we're so dumb. We had no idea that this was going on, That's crazy. $2 trillion just missing? Oh, that's weird. Over 2 decades? How could that be? Oh, well, it's because everybody turns a blind eye, or they're filling their own pockets. The Financial Crimes and Enforcement Network, or FinCEN, is, I think, one of the first people that reported on this. The more than 2,100 SARs released to the press are considered historical documents by the implicated banks, who responded with their usual Pontus polite routine? Yeah, sorry. When reached for comment by the media, and washed their hands of the matter by claiming they have fulfilled their legal obligation before the U.S. Treasury. Wow. As part of our partnership with regulators and law enforcement to protect the global financial system, as a Deutsche Bank statement puts it. Whew. And yeah, for any of you that don't know, it's not just Trump that's involved with Deutsche Bank. There's a lot of super elite people. There's hey, Cindy. Hey. Aviation Arms, the American one. We've got some people joining in. So it's not just Trump that's involved with this bank. But there's a lot of elite figures, a lot of billionaires that are out there that like to do banking with Deutsche Bank. And everybody always wonders, why do they all bank at the same place? Well, it's because there's probably some benefits to that. And it's pretty easy to move some money around if you know who to talk to. It goes on to say the Trump-linked German bank is by far the most beset by the suspicious activity records, totaling well over half of the $2 trillion sum. Holy cow. With approximately $1.3 trillion of it moving through the scandal-plagued financial institution. Most of the press coverage in the U.S. so far is focused on ties to Russian oligarchs and assorted narratives that are hovering over election year American political disclosure. Deutsche Bank's central role, nevertheless, betrays a far greater problem. You think? As the bank's potential collapse could send the financial world into a tailspin and result in the greatest economic crisis in history. Deutsche Bank has been on its last leg for a while, guys. A while. They've gone through so many scandals. They've almost gone under, from what I know of in the past 4 years, they've almost gone under like 6 times. There's been a scare that they actually could go under. And you got to think, during 2008, that didn't start in the U.S. What caused the Great Recession, as you guys know it, in 2008, that did not start here necessarily in the U.S. Yes, we were doing a bunch of shady things with our banks as well. It was just a matter of who fell first, right? So it actually started over in, I believe somewhere over in the UK, like the London area, one of their banks went down. And then overnight, boom, you saw bank after bank toppling. And that affects us here because debt just kind of, it's a very liquid thing, debt is. And people love to play with it. It's not a good thing to play with, in my opinion. You really don't want to overdo yourself, right? Because emergencies can come up. If we see something big happen with any of these banks, not just Deutsche Bank, but any of the banks that are a part of this scandal, remember, 2 trillion, just 2 trillion missing. They don't know where it went, where it is, why it's there. City of London, thank you, John Golf. Thank you. If they go under, that will hurt us here. You know, you're thinking to yourself, oh, it's just a German bank. That, you know, that's not going to hurt me. Yes, it will. If somebody this big ends up going under, it's going to hurt all of us. Pretty bad. And you saw today that bank stocks were down. Everything was down today. And there's a mixture of news. You know, it's surprising during this kind of market activity. It's almost surprising that the stock market didn't go up, but it did go down today. People came to their senses a little bit. And the reason that you saw such a heavy dip in gold and silver is actually because there was kind of like this knee-jerk reaction into cash. People just, you know, they didn't want to touch any asset. They just wanted to have cash on hand. And for a lot of these investors, it's because they know the Fed will back the U.S. stock market. You know, they could be backing other markets. You know, they got their own little trading desk. I don't know 100% what's going on over there, but you know, Jerome Powell has made it pretty clear whenever you're buying like big corporations, their debt bonds and things like that, it's a pretty good idea that the Fed is going to stimulate this market as much as they can. So people actually just felt the need to move their money into cash because they'll see this as some sort of dip, right? And they'll probably buy into the market later, you know, drop the bank stocks, drop all that stuff that they think is risky. They think it's risky. And they'll put it into something that they don't think is as risky. When really Apple stock is just as hot, you know, like a hot frying pan. It's just as hot to the touch as it is any of these banks. You know, this is why I choose to put my money into something safer. Like I said, I liked seeing this dip today. The moment that I saw silver was down to 10 to 8%, you know, I'm looking around, what are people's prices? And still, like, I choose to shop with Tony because he's got the better prices, right? Why am I going to go and spend, I hadn't looked on APMEX since we've started, but why would I go and spend way over what spot is? Because their premiums are insane right now. I don't know. We'll continue with this for just a moment because, guys, the weight of this is huge. It's huge. So as European bank stocks tumble amid the revelations, FinCEN commended the unlawful disclosure of the SARS to the press and warned that it could impact the national security of the United States. Wow. Like, please, guys, keep our banking secrets tucked under the rug because it's a national security risk. Don't bother the millions and maybe even billions of people around the world that could be affected by such a scandal. Wow. Meanwhile, the U.S. Justice Department is in the middle of the largest asset recovery effort in U.S. history, filing its latest complaint regarding $300 million the department is attempting to recover for an $11.7 billion Malaysian sovereign wealth fund called 1MDB, one of the major cases highlighted by the ICIJ in its reports on the leaked SARS. Yikes. So guys, can you also see where the digital dollar narrative could eventually fit into this? Because we could have politicians or people come out and go, hey, if we had all this money that was digitized and maybe it be put on a blockchain, this wouldn't have happened. What I can promise you is it probably would still happen, but they're going to sell it to you like this is something safer and more secure. Richard says probably a lot of black projects bribe senators' pockets and other country leaders. Exactly. Well, and let me throw this on top of you guys. Who do you think is the largest gang involved? Like, let's go through some criminal activity here. Who do you think the largest gang is for human trafficking and let's say even the trafficking of drugs? Well, we've actually had plenty of our government members be caught in human trafficking, in child trafficking. And, you know, it's also been told to us that our military has been protecting poppy fields out in the Middle East. The CIA brought in crack and cocaine during the 80s, right? That's an epidemic. Who do you think made it so easy for all the doctors to be able to push all the pills? And then, you know, once they tightened up the regulations on that, like I just said, our military was protecting the poppy fields. Those were their orders, right? And they weren't just protecting the poppy fields for, you know, the Middle East. It was one of their assets. They were helping bring it in. The biggest criminal organization or the biggest gang in the world that you could think of is the U.S. government and the alphabet agencies that are kind of behind it. Shouldn't be really surprising to anyone anymore. Yeah, Daniel says Epstein was only like one of the many. There are a ton of people that are just like him. All right, so absent from most coverage of the FinCEN links, however, it is all of these banks and financial institutions are not only laundering trillions, but are doing so together in consort with each other. You think? As is plainly demonstrated in the 1MDB fraud case, most publications point the finger at JP Morgan Chase as the entity that moved more than $1 billion for Johal Low, one of the central figures in the scandal, but they failed to mention the role of Goldman Sachs, which orchestrated a significant part. Oh, and guys, let's touch on this. Goldman Sachs, because they're involved in all this. Who is surrounded by Trump right now? Who is he appointed to be around him? Ex-Goldman Sachs people, which orchestrated a significant part of the scheme that defrauded the Malaysian people and led to criminal charges against 17 of its current and former executives, including Goldman Sachs' former vice chairman and now president of Chinese mega e-commerce platform Alibaba, Michael Evans. Wow. So if you guys wanted to check this out, you know what? Let me actually try to throw this into chat. If you guys wanted to read this whole thing, I think that you can get the link here. I think that that'll work. And so now we have this. I know I'm just switching news. It's like two totally different things right now. A package addressed to Trump containing the deadly poison ricin was intercepted. Now, guys, let me throw this out here. Why do you think that they're giving us this news? Why do you think that they want us to know? Because what I can tell you is, you know, whether you like the guy, hate the guy, whatever it is, I don't know. But what I can tell you is any and every president that's ever been in office, you got to think there's a shit ton of packages that don't make it to him every single day. There's a ton of scenarios where Secret Service has to go in and do so. And they don't talk about this stuff because it would scare the hell out of you. Right? Whether you like them or hate them, it's not good for a president sitting in office to have something dramatic or catastrophic happen because it kind of sends the country into a spiral. Right? And if you knew the amount of attacks that were happening on important people every day, it would really mess you up. It would scare you, right? So I think that for national security reasons, they normally don't let us kind of know this sort of stuff. But the fact that they're kind of like pushing this out there and it was intercepted, you know, good job this time. But I feel like they throw it out there. It's kind of like one of those back pocket things where you could pull it out of your pocket any moment, a catastrophe, right? You could. Not positive. It was announced that a woman suspect was arrested over that. trying to enter the country to New York from Canada, but no detail info. Yes, I did hear that I do believe somebody was arrested for it. But you just got to think, this is happening every day, so why let us know now? Why let us know about this one event? So it says a letter to President Donald Trump that tested positive for the deadly poison ricin was detected at an off-site facility that screens mail addressed to the White House. Law enforcement officials told NBC News Saturday. Yeshua, I have to agree with you there. And from all angles, right? Because Yeshua says big FF coming. I can agree. And for those of you that maybe don't know or you just don't watch enough of this kind of stuff, FF is false flag event, right? And I could agree with you because they keep throwing us different scenarios, right? And they're all just kind of adding up in that back pocket. It's kind of like they got this fat wallet of what card do we want to pull, right? Right out of the back pocket. Is it going to be like alien invasion, an attack on the US or some other big country, maybe in the UK somewhere? Could it be something happens to one of the presidential figures, Biden or Trump? They kind of dangle that asteroid over your head. I'm really not concerned about that asteroid, and you shouldn't be either. It's the size of a refrigerator. It wouldn't be all that catastrophic. If it hit your house, then I'm sorry, but I can't really help that if that happens. Yeah, too many weird events are suddenly happening. You're right. And guys, remember, they've kind of been exposing all kinds of things. They've talked about direct energy weapons, EMP satellites. There's still the possibility that we get that phase 2 lockdown or the second lockdown, which I do think really could happen. And do they do that before or after elections? If you were to ask me, I'd say probably before. Trump could really secure his seat. To me, election selection, it's all the same thing. It's all a game on the minds of people to steer them in the direction that they want you to go. So you have a choice, but your choice was manufactured through the kind of garbage that they send us every day. So the letter did test positive in both the field test and a laboratory test. Now, this is important because had there been some other suspicious stuff going on in the mail, your mail is actually constantly being tested. It's kind of randomly sorted as to what gets tested and what doesn't. So they have both field test and laboratory tests because they kind of need to figure out, even if this didn't go, or wasn't supposed to go to the president, if you found something like ricin in your mail, you would kind of want to make sure that it didn't get into anybody else's mail, because then you can end up having a very large problem, a huge problem. So, it is kind of important to do both the field and laboratory tests, but I'm sure this thing was tested probably like 7 times or more for the president. It says the FBI said in a statement that the Secret Service and U.S. Postal Inspection Service are investigating the origins of the letter. And like Richard Starfire had said in chat, I do believe that a lady was arrested. So we can actually move on from this. I just wanted to let you know because, or you probably already knew, that's some big news. But either way, this is going on every day. So why tell us about this one event? Sorry, guys. Through doing the work around the house, I've stirred up a lot of dust and outside stuff, and now my allergies are kind of crazy. I'm not just the nerd that looks into this stuff, but I'm also that typical nerd that you think of with, like, allergies and a stuffy nose. Oh, Walks with Crow. Let's just kind of die down on that, man. I see what you're saying there. All right, so this has been some big talk. I'm not sure if I want to really read all of this, but the headline just about says it all. A DARPA-funded implantable biochip to detect, the manufactured crisis virus could hit markets by 2021. Why? Why would you make an implantable biochip that would only detect COVID? Like, does it say in here anywhere else that they would detect anything else, or is it just COVID? Let's just go ahead and read some of this. In my head, I'm just like, really? Like, they're going to give you some sort of biochip or implantable device that can detect just about anything. It'll even detect, way into the future. If you've, like, gone off your course and you're supposed to go to work, it'll, like, zap you, meh, and then you, like, get back on course and it'll stop zapping you. Yeah. That's about where we're at, right? So it says the most significant scientific discovery since gravity has been hiding in plain sight for nearly a decade, and its destructive potential to humanity is so enormous that the biggest war machine on the planet immediately deployed its vast resources to possess and control it. Financing its research and development through agencies like the National Institute of Health, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, and HHS. The revolutionary breakthrough came to a Canadian scientist named Derek Rossi in 2010 purely by accident. The now retired Harvard professor claimed in an interview with the National Post that he found a way to reprogram the molecules that carry the genetic instructions for cell development into the human body, not to mention all biological life forms. Sounds so amazing and so dangerous at the same time, does it not? So, check this out. You know what? Let's just go down here. As early as 2006, DARPA was already researching how to identify viral upper respiratory pathogens through its Presenting Health and Disease Program, which led to the creation of the agency's Biological Technologies Office, as reported by Whitney Webb. Guys, if you don't know who Whitney Webb is, I think that you can follow her. I don't think she does really much on YouTube. I kind of just follow her through Twitter and whatever links she has there. Whitney Webb does absolutely amazing research, like incredible deep dives into this kind of stuff. And she really kind of helps you take what is this spider web of an entangled mess on different subjects and like very carefully picks that web apart and really gives you like a nice trail to be able to follow. So it was reported by Whitney Webb in a May article for The Last America Vagabond. In 2014, DARPA's BTO launched its in vivo nano platforms. Ooh, I don't like that, nano platforms. Even DARPA is scared of the nanotechnologies they've created because it won't die off and it continues to multiply. Sorry. It's just creepy whenever you think about that they released something, into this world and they don't know how to kill it off. It survives for so long. It's got the capability to kind of expand, repopulate itself, kind of keep growing. It's really, really creepy. So the IVN program, which researches implantable nanotechnologies leading to the development of hydrogel. It's really creepy, guys. Like, this stuff really messes with me. Because, you've heard about Bill Gates. He's mentioned putting vaccines in bananas and different things like that. And it sounds super great. It sounds so great. But my bigger fear is, like, I'm probably exposed to some sort of nanotechnology every day. They use it in medications and different things, and they make it sound super great. Oh, it's so great. We can see that Nana's, pill was fully digested or some weird stuff like that. Sounds good. Right? Get your health report. Super easy. What if it's not just, what if they're not just making vaccine bananas or nano prescriptions where we can see that Nana took her pills on time? Like, what if it's in my apple and my chicken and anything that I'm eating for whatever reason? And what is it there for? Is it there so it can act as a secret virus, let's say a real pandemic were to take place, but is it one that could be controlled and just turned on? Some of you guys mentioned maybe these vaccines will work with 5G. I have to wonder myself, with any kind of frequency that's out there or whatever smart stuff the nanotech is doing inside of you, you have to wonder, not just the vaccine, but even before they come up with this, is there something already in our bodies that's kind of like that? This might be going too far, but let's say like a kill switch or something happens to make you incredibly ill or maybe just like go to sleep forever. I don't really know. I'm not positive. It's scary to think that. And it's scary because like even growing your own food out in the garden, well, then we get on to the topic of, chemtrails or stratospheric aerosol injections, as they would like you to say. That's the scientific word for, a chemtrail. Yeah, we know that there's aluminum, barium, strontium in these planes, but are there nanoparticles in that stuff? Could that be falling onto my garden? So even my healthy food, supposed to be organic food, is exposed to something, and there's not much that I can do about it. That's insane to think about. And then how teeny tiny these particles can be. I got a feeling like even if you figured out how to dig a 30-foot hole in the ground and, put your garden down there and do solar lights and purified water and a super purified air filtration system, I don't know if the nanotech would even get out of it. I don't even know if you could build a sophisticated hole in the ground to do gardening and it be safe. That's literally what I'm telling you. Oh, so hydrogel is a nanotechnology whose inventor early on boasted that if it pans out with approval from FDA, then consumers could get the sensors implanted into their core to measure their levels of glucose, oxygen, and lactate. Whoa. This contact lens-like material requires a special injector. I told you guys, I'm so tired. I can't even read the word special. A special injector to be introduced under the skin where it can transmit light-based. What is that? The Luciferius type? Is that correct? The Luciferius, whatever is what they're calling this. Light-based digital signals through a wireless network like 5G. Yay! We can all just constantly be radiating ourselves. We could be little antennas for the government. Maybe we'll all just turn into Bitcoin mining machines. They'll use your body's energy to mine all of these cryptos or something. I'm not positive. Or even just use your body to store data. I don't even know. Oh, I don't even know. We just want to be done with this. We know that the implants are coming. Screw COVID, because it's kind of all a big joke by now. And they plan on having it all by 2021. So isn't that super great? Genetically changed insects are already being released into the public wild. Lord knows what the ramifications will be long term. Exactly. What a lot of these scientists are doing, it sounds so great on the surface, right? But we really need to be careful. And I'm not somebody that hates on science completely. There's a lot of science that has brought us good stuff in the world, but it's a matter of, who has control over that? Why do they want control over it? How much money do they have to be able to fund it? All this stuff kind of goes into your head, and then the big why. I don't like mosquitoes either, but to release a genetically modified mosquito into the world scares the mess out of me. We don't know how these things are actually going to react once you release them into the wild. Doing something in a nice controlled lab is one thing, and you can get some pretty good studies, but you've got to be so careful the moment that you're playing with genetics, moving that stuff out into the wild. What can it do to you? Your animals. What will it do to the population just of mosquitoes in general? Sounds great to get rid of them, but whenever you think about, that's what bats eat and frogs and other little animals and birds, they eat this stuff. So do we really want to get rid of that? The food chain is so important in the way that it goes. It was built the way that it was for a reason. Everything kind of moves in a circle, and whenever you're taking bits out of that circle, that can affect things long term. Good points, guys. Good points. Okay, so we have massive allegations of fraud, some more fraud for you, that have forced California to temporarily stop paying new unemployment benefit claims. So for 2 weeks, you cannot, or it won't be accepted, the new unemployment claims. And part of this, is somewhat probably because of fraud. I mean, the government should have known the moment that they did this. We were all saying there's going to be a ton of fraud. It's the perfect time to take advantage of it. And now people that need the help the most have kind of been left behind while others are advancing. And this is scary to think about because the last unemployment claims that they had was 600,000. That's just for California. And now they say that they want to stop it for backlog. Some areas will tell you it's backlogged. Others are letting you know, hey, it's fraud. Either way, it's almost dangerous to stop this for 2 weeks because there might be somebody out there that's really suffering and they need some help. And yeah, it sucks that there's fraud involved, but y'all should have thought about all this before you rolled all of this easy money out to begin with, right? So last week it was reported that the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, a federal government program that was part of a 2.2 trillion relief package and designed to extend unemployment benefits to self-employed people, independent contractors, those engaged in the gig economy, part-time workers, and others who were previously deemed ineligible for unemployment insurance, was plagued with allegations of fraud. Yeah, you think? Investigations indicated that there was a growing problem with fraud, and the PUA program was the target of scammers who, among other activities, stole people's identities to apply for benefits they weren't entitled to. Oh, that's pretty bad. Really bad. Let me see here. This actually doesn't tell you a whole lot. So in response to this situation, after already paying billions in claims, California will not accept new unemployment claims for the next 2 weeks. The statement announced on a Saturday that it will use this time to work on procedures and systems in place to prevent fraud, calling it a reset period. Oh, don't you like that? So they're calling it a reset period that will help expedite new claimant payments, reduce fraud, and tackle backlog issues moving forward. Don't you like that, though? A reset period. Interesting. Just found that to be interesting. And so you guys can get a laugh. This lady, you've had to have seen her, right? People are really, really, really freaking out over who's going to be in the Supreme Court next. Like, they can't stop freaking out. She's kind of loud, so let me turn her down. Somebody let me know, like, is this real or did somebody fake this?
I'm driving a car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died!
So she opens up with, I'm driving a car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Ginsburg has died. She's freaking out. Like, this cannot be real. Please tell me it's fake.
Fuck! Could this year get any fucking worse?
Imagine how she's going to feel when she's really hungry. It is fake, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Because I've seen, like, tons of these. This lady isn't the only one. There's a ton of them. And some of them are, like, real. They're legit. And then others, I'm like, there's no way that this is real, right?
Ruth! You just had to make it to 2021! Ah! Holy fuck!
Oh, it's hilarious. Okay, we can move on from this. So just to throw it out there, this is from 4 hours ago. A state of emergency has been declared for LMPD ahead of expected Breonna Taylor announcement. So they're already getting... No, she's real, just psycho. Yeah, Richard, I'm in the same boat. I don't know if it's real or fake, but it is hilarious. Whoa. John Golf says Satanists kill their children and buy a new car. That's interesting. I don't know what to say about that. All right, so interim chief of police Robert Schroeder declared a state of emergency for the Louisville Metro Police Department on Monday. The department has also canceled all off-day and vacation requests until further notice. Can't even go on vacation right now. The announcement comes ahead of Attorney General Daniel Cameron's announcement in the Breonna Taylor case. So, I don't know, like, are they rioting right now? We can go take a really quick look to see if anything's really going down. Felon arrested after pointing gun at motorist during Louisville protest a minute ago. I'm not really sure. Whoa, is this like right now? Hold on, it's saying that a family of barbecue cooks shot by National Guard during Louisville protests. Huh. Is that like recent? I don't really see anything going on. So there's a possibility that they're rioting, but I really don't know, guys. We'll see. I have a feeling that they'll probably be out there tonight. They could be out there tomorrow. And most of this is just football. So there you go. That's kind of what we got here. Ugh. All right, Creepy Joe. That's kind of all I've got for you tonight. So just to throw it out there, you know, if you're anywhere around the Louisville area, or maybe you had plans to drive through, just kind of keep your head on a swivel, because we don't really know. Well, no, we kind of do know how people are going to react to things, but at the same time, it is kind of getting colder outside. So will the riots continue? I'll say yes and no. It just depends on how much people can actually bear the cold once it starts getting colder. Thank you, Candy Left Wench, for the follow. I just see that 9 minutes ago. We got a new subscriber, follower. But cool. Oh, okay. I did shout out Rinman Designs. Good. The donate didn't work for you on Streamlabs? Hold on real quick, because we can chat for a little bit before we get out of here. Hold on. Well, I don't know if I just tried to do it on my end. I forgot it doesn't let you, you're not allowed to donate yourself. If anybody out there feels like trying to test the donation thing, that would be really cool. Anybody in the background or anybody in chat, if you wanted to test it, that would actually be really cool, so we can see if there's a problem with the Streamlabs link or not. I literally just tried to do it myself and totally forgot that I myself am not allowed to donate to myself. So there you go. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it's working for some of the other people out there. It worked 3 days ago for Rinman Designs. So yeah, I'm not positive what's up with that. But you do have two options. You know, you can go straight to PayPal, or you could use the Streamlabs link. The Streamlabs link can just kind of be fun if you don't care to remain completely anonymous, because you know, you can put your normal YouTube name that I would see up in there. Joining the fringe. Hey Kent, we're just about to die down, Kent. We're just about to die down. But I would talk to you guys for a little bit, because I did skip 2 days. But yeah, there are two ways to donate. So there's the PayPal link or the Streamlabs. PayPal link, you'll stay anonymous unless you tell me, hey, I kind of want to shout out, here's my screen name. And we can do that. Streamlabs, your screen name will come up somewhere in here, and you'll fill up the little donation ticker thing. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. That's not cool. Also, I feel like in the future, it would just kind of be, I don't know if you guys care or not, but whenever we get back on the main channel, YouTube does take 30%, whereas Streamlabs doesn't take anything from me. So that's actually been kind of nice for those of you that have been donating. Just because, like, it's amazing what a difference it makes, and how much further I can take that money and use it. You know, like we are so close to actually getting the desktop paid off. You know, the whole reason we have the desktop is because of you guys. The channel's powered by the people, and now it's almost paid off, which is just great. Like, that's insane. You guys know I'm not a big fan of debt, so the only thing that I've taken debt out on is on this desktop, and just to see it almost paid off is fantastic. Yeah, Richard, that's how that goes and works. And most oh, Slade Hammer. Slade's somewhere in the background. That's cool. And it's also, you know what? I actually need to move that alert box, because I did not realize that that the chat would be in the way. But look, Slade, I can actually oh, he says, hope this works. Keep up the great work. I can actually replay it, I think. There you go. So, Slade, you got your dancing taco. Sorry, I didn't realize I had it behind the chat. That's not cool. Alrighty, guys. Well, we know that it works somehow. For whatever reason, it just doesn't want to work for M. Houston. I don't know how to fix that, and that's too personal for me to go and help you with. You know, that's your money, and we don't even talk about money so much like with each other, with me and my partner. Like we talk about it and what we're gonna buy, but like I don't share bank accounts or any of that kind of stuff. It's just weird, you know? To me, I think that's weird. Keep your own bank account. Oh, well, Daniel, we don't get a super chat button right now because we're on the second channel. So the second channel is not monetized. Maybe in the future it will be, but who really knows? We'll try to keep this one safe just as the backup channel. So I think that that's it for tonight, guys. Let me get you some music going. Hopefully it's a decent song. And then we can get on out of here. Let me see if I like this song or not. I think it'll work. The song will be okay.